How you doing, everybody? John, how are we doing today?
Doing good, man.
Yeah, doing
Doing good.
good.
Yeah.
Two-man show as usual. The co-host, Mr. Sullivan and Mr. Linger. I think this is kind of the norm. Sorry, guys, if you're listening to this. No hard
I'm
feelings.
I'm not sorry at all.
No, me
Not really.
either. But it shows the persistence of listening to music and listening to different genres, especially with today's
But
band.
today's one, yes.
But we're going to go off with the sponsor of my brother's site, Lingered Lores. Um, Still going strong, still going good. I noticed you liked one of my videos with him
Yeah, I
making
saw
some.
the yeah, I saw him making some. I was like, that's cool, man. If,
Dude, I tell you what,
if
him
I went
doing this is pretty interesting, but like him when he was doing it years ago, he loves just doing that stuff. Loves it.
if I went fishing more, I'd definitely
I
I
know.
might buy some anyway just for fun.
I know, right?
Just to help the cause out.
And also too, when you go on the website, he will have updated stuff, even newer stuff. They're like, hey, we're gonna bring this, bring that. And also too, you can customize colors, do whatever you want. Um, Customizing is very awesome, especially when it comes to that niche, because if
Yeah,
you go into the store, you get a certain color and that's it,
that's it.
and
Yep.
different colors mean different catches, different areas, different waters. So you kind of want to, hey, this is for freshwater or this is pond, lake, and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to be able to
Yeah.
do that. So yeah, one of the sponsors also Mickey. His description of his stuff will be in the video. Check it out. Ask for certain things. He will hook you up, I guess.
He'll get around to it eventually.
You will get around to it. Um, Now, here's one thing we need to start doing. I feel like start of the video. I'm popping this on you.
Oh, you're not
I'm
even giving me. You're
popping
springing it
so,
on me live right now.
now. Besides listening to the New York Dolls all week, we only had 5 albums, right? What
Mhm.
is something this week you've been listening to, and you're like, man, I haven't. I This sounds awesome. Like a band that out of the blue, or something that like really got to you this week. Like, man, I've heard this song in like forever. What you've been listening to besides that?
Besides the New York Dolls, not a lot actually.
No.
No, I have there's I have to listen to the super hits at work because that's like the only
Uh,
channel that's the only channel that comes in. So, the whole customer ambiance thing.
oh, sure, sure,
So
sure.
so I hear a lot of songs over and over that I want to send to the moon. But um
Like Foo Fighters. No against Foo Fighters, but they're probably one of the ones. Taylor Swift, probably.
they're not actually. It's
Really?
yeah, it's all like like that 95.9, so the oldies
Oh,
station,
you
but they play
know,
everything from like they got like 70s, 80s, 90s, so there's like, you know,
you're hoping for a Blue Oyster Cult song.
yeah, or something like like every now and then they'll throw in like a Detroit Rock City
Okay, you like Kiss,
or
yeah.
like yeah, or like there's the one random AC/DC song they have that's not Back in Black.
Oh, Highway. Yeah, sure.
Not even that. No, they won't play that one. It's
Those
like
who got the rock or We Salute You.
something.
How about the
Yeah.
Jack? Play the Jack. Or
Yeah,
the
that would be a good one to play.
ball
See if I
breaker.
took over, see if I had my own show, I would do that. Deep
I wouldn't do
cuts.
that. The deep cuts. I always
The
like
deep
deep
cuts.
cuts with music because it's like you listen to like Master of Puppets. You're like, oh, Master of Puppets. Well, what about like Games Incorporated? That's a deep cut. But let me rephrase that. Like Ride the Lightning, like like you know, For Whom the Bells Tolls, always the one. But
That's my one of my favorites, most
what
favorite
about Ride
songs.
the Lightning? That's a cool song.
Ride the
It's like
Good. I mean, Call of Cthulhu is one of my favorite ones too.
right? The deep, deep cuts, the stuff that the real fans appreciate with the bands. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Which I guess that's gonna lead us into the New
New
York
York
Dolls.
Dolls.
Um, Now let's go with synopsis of the New York Dolls. Wow, I just did that. I can't believe I did that. I'm trying to click on the screen. It's not there.
Not there.
It's not
Yeah,
there.
I did
Um,
and I did some diving into the New York Dolls too, and there's like a really big gap
there's a
from like,
huge gap.
well, because Buster Poindexter there decided to do his own thing in the 80s.
Yes. Well, I think also too, yeah. Um, David Johansen kind of, you know, he was the
Yeah.
face in a lot of internal, stuff. Well, back in '71, let's think about that for a minute. Let's say that again. 1971, with Velvet Underground and the Stooges, one of the first early punk rock scenes. And when I read that, when I was trying to learn this band, I always like to deep dive into the
Hmm.
years. Okay, I need to know what albums to get to. And when I heard or saw that statement, I was like, early punk rock? Is it really? Unfortunately, when you look at the band, you don't think of that. And what you think of is Twisted Sister. They ripped them
Yep.
off, but a little bit different. Kiss ripped them off. Kiss, I think, totally ripped them off. You can, I personally myself, I'm like, I can hear that punk rock, like, prototyping
Hmm.
in the
Oh yeah.
music. And, the last person in the band still is David Johansen,
Hmm.
Johansson, Johansson, or whatever you want to call
Yeah.
him, which became a pretty successful actor too.
Yeah.
After the New York Dolls split, he went in and played
Hmm.
Scrooge with the New York Driver. Car 54, Where Are You? You remember?
Yeah. The movie.
You remember that? See, a
Yeah.
lot of people don't. I'm like, man, you don't remember that? That was a pretty funny movie.
Yeah.
But he was in that too, and
Yeah. He was in a bunch of uh yeah, like he was in some Netflix stuff recently, and
yeah, it's like he stayed.
he stayed active for sure.
He did, and there were being turmoil in that band. It was like,
Oh my gosh, so many, well, besides people dying,
I know.
but so much turnover. It was like basically him and Sylvan still
Yes.
still I
Sylvan Sylvan. Yeah, right there. Yeah, Sylvan Sylvan.
was
What
like
a
it was
name.
basically those two. I know, right?
Yeah. And there were documentaries that came out about the bass player that drugs got so bad he threw himself out the window. You know what I mean? It hurt his
Well, I
brain.
mean, yeah, you think you can fly and stuff.
Yeah, and after the documentary came out, or a little bit before, he passed away. And it was just like, man, stuff that they did
Yeah,
back in the day, man, it's
yeah,
unreal.
unreal.
But yeah, let's get
Let's spin the
into it.
wheel.
Let's spin the wheel. We're gonna play this a little different today. We are gonna both give our point of views on it because it's only 5 albums, and which is kind of surprising, but it makes sense because of the revival of a lot of these bands.
Hmm.
Um, okay.
Okay.
One day it will please us to
Let's
remember
remember
even
even
this.
this.
Wow. What a long title name.
Yeah.
What a long title. And also, too, this is their first album back
Yeah, it
from
was
1974.
so 30 something years. That was what, 2006, I think.
Yeah, 2000. Yeah, 2006. Yeah. And we have to remember that we got to think back, it was 20 years ago when that came out. That's where the M3 concerts were coming in, where they had
Hmm.
all the glam people were Dokken and like Poison and different bands were being revived. Hey,
Mhm.
Rob, man, very glam rock. Lead singer's voice is very bland, sounds the same on all songs that I listen to.
Listen to Rob over there.
Wow. I appreciate you listening to the album. Should have been on the show, man. Son of a bitch. All right,
Yeah,
whatever.
man, yeah, whatever, dude.
Well, what did you think about this album? When because you got to remember this was the third one out of five. So you listened to the
So
first two. You know what
right,
I mean?
and then there's the 30-year gap. Yeah, it. I mean, to me, this one had obviously a much more modern sound to it. Um, but it still had that New York Dolls sound.
It did. It very much. Um, the production sounded very well, which we have to remember in 73 and 74,
74.
production wasn't so great
But even those albums sounded good
for what the times were.
for,
Yes,
for what the time was. Yeah.
absolutely. Um, I
Uh,
will say if his singing was like it in 73 and 74, quality wise,
mhm.
this album to me would be a very top tier album. You
Yeah,
you could tell he drank and smoked a lot. Like you could just
well, yeah,
tell.
you can just tell. Yeah, and he's also what 50 something at that time
Yep.
too. So
Yep. He didn't take care of it. He doesn't need
he
the rock
doesn't
and
take care of
roll.
himself, and
Yeah.
he's like Keith Richards.
Wow, that's a good comparison. I mean, you'd figure Rolling Stones were what 69-ish, so they
Yeah,
were kind of in that era, and
and
um
I hear a little bit of some Rolling Stones in the New York Dolls.
I do very much, especially the rhythms. I'll tell you this much: the guitar work was very good to me
Yeah,
on a lot of these albums.
a
That
lot of them.
I can listen to
And
this album all day, to be
yeah,
honest.
I liked this one the most. If I
Really,
will.
I
Yeah,
I have some problems with some of these songs.
I mean, yeah, some of the songs like I don't know. We'll call it. What was the one? Punishing
Dance,
World, Dance Like a Monkey. I mean,
yeah, it was
mm,
kind of a weird. I don't know. I appreciate the music part. Some of the
yeah,
lyrics were kind of like, oh wow. But
yeah.
I could put this personally myself, it was probably the second best um to let me see. Actually, let me take that back. It is third best out of the five for me. So if I was going to rank it, I would probably put it in fishnet.
Fishnet area.
As you see the fabulous chick, fishnet, ridiculous, gutter trash. I think those were good. I think we did a very good job on that. What do you rank it as? I probably would put it third, very close to second for me.
Mm, as an overall, yeah, I mean, actually, it's probably like a number two for me.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm okay with that because of course, surprise, surprise, none of these songs made it to my gym list.
Oh no,
Surprise, surprise. But it would, I'm okay with that because to me, it's very listenable. I think it's
it is.
modern, very bluesy in some parts, which
Mhm.
I appreciate from them. And it's just the singing, a little bit of that singing. I just
It's
couldn't.
rough. Yeah.
It's rough, but it adds to the flavor of the music. But I feel like if they would have recorded this maybe 10 years to 15 before 2006, his voice
Mhm.
is a little bit better, but still the same production. I bet you it would be a
It
very good album from them.
I can agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I'm okay with B. I'm okay with that. That's because I'm thinking of the other albums, and actually, I would. I know it's number 3 out of 5, but actually, it's like 2A and 2B.
Yeah.
For certain
Hmm.
things, so I have to. I can't do 2A and 2B. So
I
it's
I
a
really liked I really liked that "Get Away from Tommy" song. That
yeah,
it
yeah,
was just like
yeah.
a it's just like a fun, I don't know, it's kind of a fun song.
I, some of these songs are pretty funny, like running around and plenty of music. Well, they're good, but fishnets, and
Fishnets and
cigarettes.
Cigarettes. That's
Like
a great song.
I think the personality of them comes out a lot, and they're funny
Yeah.
guys. They're from New
Yeah.
York, they're funny dudes. But
Uh,
they know New
yeah.
York, you
Yeah.
know.
I ain't got nothing. That's another good one.
Yeah. They're pretty good. I like the songs. It's very listenable. I think it's very
Yeah,
listenable.
and that's the thing for me is like I was like, man, I don't know how this is gonna go.
Yeah. Which for me, listening to them, it was I could. It was better than Gorgoff. I'll tell you that much. In some aspects, it
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
because
No,
there's three
I
albums,
with you
three
on that one.
albums I could
Bless you.
listen to. Thank you. Um, oh, which one's this one?
I think that's on the, I don't know, whatever the bottom one
Because I
is.
say so.
Because I say so.
So for me, this is it's an okay album for me.
Hmm.
I think the 2006 one is a lot better. I do like this one a little bit too. I can listen to it. Um,
Yeah.
it's. I think it has a little bit more. Um, Still the singing. It's just
Yeah. His
unfortunately
singing is, yeah. It's,
it brings it down. It never can be, you know, S tier because of it. But I'm okay with this being a fishnet, kind of a B.
yeah.
Um, what's funny is like if you take the this one or the last one we just did,
Hmm.
and you put
Yep.
them side by side, it almost sounds like it could be together, like a double
Yeah.
album.
Like a double album. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the guitar works really great on this too. I think
Yeah. There's some good bass lines throughout.
yes, the
Like
drumming is a
it,
lot better too. I think it
yeah,
sounds better.
it does. I know. Like this is ridiculous. That bass line, it's and just the bluesiness of that song was,
I can
and I,
appreciate that bluesiness too. It gives that different flavor to the meal and the
yeah.
harmonica. And you're like,
Hmm.
okay, this is pretty cool. And I felt like this album was a reach to the past for them,
Yeah.
bringing elements from their first 2 albums. Like,
Hmm.
oh, I remember that. And actually, there were
Yep.
sometimes I listened to a song, I'm like, I've heard that riff. I've heard
Yeah.
that something from somewhere,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
Um,
You can, and I think they redid a song or two on this one from early times.
I think so.
I think "Trash" is the one that was off of the
Yes.
first album that they remade
Oh,
in a different fashion, perhaps.
I think so. Different key or something like that. And
It's
Rob
just
even said "Making Rain" was okay. That was a pretty good song too. Um,
yeah,
"Lonely, So Lonely," "Better Than You," "Cause I
yep.
Say So." Those are pretty good songs too.
Yep.
Um,
And then they surprised me with the "Exorcism of Despair" at the end with the distortion and like
th-
trying to go heavy.
it they are always when I'm listening to the later stuff, I'm like, you're a step away of being a hard rock band instead of a sleazy band. They're a sleaze band. They're a glam
Oh
sleaze band. Oh, Rob said Trash was good too. So yeah, it's what it's one of those things. I bet you they do a good live performance. You know what I mean?
Well, there's like 97 live albums in there somewhere.
I
So
know.
I, and if I wanted to listen to one of the live ones, but it just,
I watched one of their old concerts from like the 70s. You could really tell they were very close of the punk rock scene of being the leader. If they would at least threw out another album or two, late 70s, early 80s, I bet you everybody would be like, yes, they are, that band we really wanted to be and blah blah blah. But when you have two albums and you just get up and leave, you're kind of left in the dust until you're figured
yeah,
out like later on in the 80s where you got Poison, Rat, Guns N' Roses and all
White
those
Snake and all those guys. And
took
yeah.
took that element and they threw it. It's the decade. It's always the
Hmm.
revival every decade. They took something they saw and they're like, hey, let's modernize it. New York Dolls were dressing like chicks, and then Twisted Sister came in. It's like, well, you're just doing it, but heavier. It's always
Yeah.
like metal. You got the thrash stuff. Like, hey, we took heavy metal and punk and we infused it. Now we're just faster. It's like, okay, well, you
Hmm.
did that with the glam New York Dolls, and now you just did that part of it. And I could
Yep.
put this in probably Fishnet. I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. Now,
I'm
did you
fine with
like this album better than the other one? Like
it.
the
I think I liked more songs off of it.
okay. Do you think it should be ahead of that one then?
I don't have to go back and look again. I have to get back into my headspace.
Yeah. It's kind of hard. Um, Rob said,
I
"Yep."
think it.
So, Rob, did you did you like the because I said better than um one day? Did you like this album? Did you like this one more than this one? I feel like we're mixing it up. I feel like it needs to be like this. Like it needs to be in front. Like these two are listenable to me.
It's one of those like we've said on just about everyone, where if you take some songs from this
Yeah.
one and you take some songs from that one and you put them together, then you have a pretty good album.
So should
Then
do we leave it like this or do we kind of do this because we like the if you like more songs on this album, it has to be better than this album, right? I actually liked it. I even had Jackson listen to all of this. See, good. You got to broaden.
broaden
There's
his horizons.
it's not black and white, red and blue. There's yellow, purple, green. I had that problem early in life where I have stuck to a niche and I didn't widen my scopes. This I knew about the New York Dolls. I've listened to them before, long time ago because I watched that documentary. I'm talking like yeah, 10 years ago. To be honest, kind of caught me. And yeah, if you're telling me because I said has more songs you listen to than one day, it's got to be above it. It's it's the
Yeah,
rules, man. It's the rules.
rules rules are the rules. I
Rules are
understand
the
it.
rules.
That's what
So
we're gonna
are
do.
you okay with that? Which
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Fishnet and Chick is listenable. They are.
Yeah.
I can put them on and go cut grass. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's grass cutting um, music. I believe it, and also too, like I didn't skip a lot of songs out because I said I actually let it. Except maybe one or two. I let it play repeat. I was like, okay, cool. Um, the one day it was I think three or four. I did have to skip maybe three.
I didn't skip any, but then I started to kind of just drift off somewhere else. So I might as well have skipped something. It was like, oh, I was like, did I change over the laundry? Did...
Rob said, "Dude, Jackson was like, what the heck are we listening to?" Then was like, "It ain't so bad." It's there. It's a New York Dolls, to me, they've had two careers. They had the early days,
Mhm.
and then they have these days.
The
The 2006 on these two
Mhm.
records and the last one, but um, we'll get to that one.
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 I feel like they went more slow, bluesy, bar rock.
Mhm.
Um, bar rock, man, that puts a label on it. I feel like for what they do, and they do a sleazy bar rock very well with
Yeah, oh
those
yeah.
two albums. Um, so yeah, okay, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Let's see. It's hard when you only got five albums,
Yeah.
but you
Hits
know,
keep on coming.
let's keep it going. This is their very first one.
I believe
Ah,
that's where it is. Yeah.
the very first one, the New York Dolls. What did you think about that when you first? This was the first
The
album
first
you listened to,
this first one I listened to, I was like, man, these guys are fun. It's just
right?
like it's it's just a damn, what is the word I'm looking for? Just like it's like a nice change. It's a breath of fresh air from what we've
Well,
kind of been listening to.
when you go from
Not that what we're
Vader,
listening to is bad, but it's but yeah, it was just like this is fun. Just I don't have to really think too hard what they're trying to say or get across here.
very simple albums. Like they're
Yep.
40 minutes, like almost every one of them, maybe a 50-minute
Hmm.
one.
Yeah.
Um, I can personally say that I understand where a lot of these bands get a lot of their influence from. Not
Oh,
telling
oh
you it's from them. It's they stole stuff from them.
yeah. Oh, dude, I hear like social distortion in there.
I thought I did, dude. I was trying to put my
There's
finger on it.
there's a huge Motley Crue
Yeah,
and Poison is
yeah.
from there. Again, like I said earlier, some Rolling Stones, even a little bit of the Doors in there.
Okay.
Just from I think where he tried to bring the singing down a little bit in a couple of the songs,
Like
and I
he's
was like, oh
talking. He's like
yeah,
verse, like a poetry type of esque, where he's telling you how New
yeah,
York is in personal
yeah.
life. And I'll tell you this much: I like the singing on this album. I think it's you could. It's almost like they took it from a live feed of like everybody was in the room together. It was like the best. This is the best garage demo I've ever heard. That's the way I took
Yeah.
it. Um, I think it's instead of there's only one, two songs I don't care for, but it's still. Oh, Rob says you're very right, John, about the influences. Very right.
Of course I'm right, Rob. I mean, come on,
Well,
man.
I I could put this under Chick, but to you, how did you feel? This is like number two to me. This is my second favorite out of the five.
I mean, it's up there for me for sure.
Mm. Is it better
Um,
than because I said to you, or do you think it's fabulous? Fabulous. Um,
I mean, to me, it's like that line, that fabulous chic line.
okay.
It
Okay, so
could it
you're
could be either.
so,
It's
so
either or,
either
but
or. So what? Okay, Rob, when you listen to this, this could be if he says fabulous, I'll put in fabulous. If not, I'll just put it in front of this one. So it's like in between. You know what I mean?
yeah, I got you.
Are you drinking a V8?
No,
Oh,
no,
oh,
it's a Zoa.
oh God, The Rock. Rob says fabulous. You say it's fabulous. It's fabulous. You know what? I'll be honest. Being a first album is really good. It
Yeah.
really. It's sad because if you just listen to the music, it's a
Hmm.
bluesy. You can hear the punk vibe that they kind of, especially the singing was very
Hmm.
punky. The playing was very middle tier at the time, probably good, being, timing and the Rolling Stones esque. Um, but when you look at the album, you're like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
That's the problem with imagery. Some people don't, you can't judge a book by its cover. You can't. This is one of those bands where their albums are good. When you look at the band, like these guys look fucking ridiculous. Like I'm not going to listen to them, and it
Yeah.
sucks. It sucks
Yeah.
for them, and I give them a lot of credit for sticking it out. Put that New York vibe. I really don't care what you think about me. That's New
Yep.
York for you. I really don't
Yep.
care. um,
Go on with your bad self.
okay, Personal Crisis, um, Frankenstein,
Hmm.
Private World was a good song.
Yeah, I
Um,
like that one.
oh yeah,
And of course, trash. We had to include trash there.
trash, man. You're trash. Um, thank you, Rob. Yeah, it sucks because radio killed. Was the videos killed the radio star?
Yep.
It is very prominent here because when you look at a band like this, you're like, oh god, these guys dress in drag, blah blah blah. It's like no, they did it to get your attention.
Hmm.
I didn't think they would be any good, but they were okay. You can see that's the best part about this show. You just put the mission statement out right there. I
Yep.
didn't think they would be any good, but they're okay. Now you got a couple albums that you're like, man, I could come back to these and have that mood one day. Like, hey, I want something bluesy today. Bam. It's
Something
like
fun, yeah, because
something fun.
they throw in that like they did this, like they have this mixture of like bluesy doo wop, like
Yeah.
punk thing, and yeah, it's just it's a cool thing that they did.
hmm I appreciate the harmonica parts. I
Yeah.
do.
Oh yeah. And like I said, the bass lines through like some of these are like I figured Runyon would be all over that because, being the bass guy that he is.
Hint to Runyon saying stuff. Runyon did not like this band at all. He did not care for it. I don't know how Mickey felt. He never did really say. I don't think he listened to it. But Runyon, you might as well just threw it in the gutter. Like seriously, he did not.
Yeah.
I wonder what he listened to. And being a bass player, I was. It's funny that you're hearing that stuff, but he's not hearing it,
Yeah,
right?
because I picked up, I was like, "Oh my dude, whoa."
Very clear, clear.
Yeah.
The guitar work I feel like was really good too for its time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The sounds were like, wow, this is you hear the quality in it.
Yeah, it's
Definitely
like the bluesy kind of like even some southern rock kind of stuff in there.
sure, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, being with that type of band, it's during that time of it's
Like
very
experimenting.
yes.
Yep.
I think you could tell even 73, the reverb in it, the effects of
Hmm.
it, like, oh, this is crunchy. This is, I see the prototypes of where they say prototype punk. And I'm like, no way. And I listen to this album, you're like,
Yep.
oh, you took something just like any
Hmm.
other stuff and you
Any
made
other
it,
one. Yep.
yep, made it into something. So, all right, two more, man. It's going to be
50,
a
50, man, this is
50
tough.
50. Mm, second album.
Second album.
Second album. There it is.
There it is. Yep.
Which is In Too Much Too Soon.
I I liked this one too, man. It
I
like
did too. Uh, some of these songs are kind of weird though.
some of them like dude. Okay, Puss in Boots. Can we talk about that one for a second?
What a great
It's
song. I think it's a
it's
great song.
it is, but it's like I thought he was gonna say something else every
You and me
time.
both, my friend. I'm like, oh, that's very tongue in cheek. It's very
Yeah.
Mighty Python of you to say something
Hmm.
like that. Um,
And then again, the Bad Detective. Again, it's got that kind of like that is, but it's got that cool like it's got that like kind of like country kind of just bass line
yeah,
through it. You
it's
know?
telling you a story. It's something with the
Yeah.
story. I feel like with this album, Babylon, Mystery Girls,
Hmm.
Too Late, Don't Start Talking to Me. I think those are classics. I really
Yeah.
think those are good songs.
Was it
Um,
Mystery? Was it Mystery Girls that Aerosmith clearly ripped off the riff from for Train Kept
yes,
a Rolling?
yes. Thank you. When I heard it too, I was like, man, Aerosmith was in this time frame. I was like,
Yeah, they
they were,
were, and
they
and I
ripped it
think
off.
they were. I think they were influenced by them.
Very. I tell you this much: a lot of times, everybody's second album is a leap and bound. This was a great leap and bound. Where personally, I'm going to put that behind Fabulous. I
Yeah,
personally think
yeah, that's definitely up there
I think
for
the
sure.
first two albums are the
Yep.
best. Out of Don't
Yeah,
get
for
me
sure.
wrong, because I feel like was I feel like it could have been made back in the day,
Hmm.
and it could fall in line with it. Don't get me wrong, One Day was a good comeback album. I
Hmm.
really did. There again, yes, they did. Yeah, it's those two first albums. I feel like if they would have got a third or fourth, they would be talked about
Way more.
way more,
Way
way
more.
more.
Yeah.
They probably, mm, how do I put this? If they would have made a third one, they would still explode internally. I
Yeah.
personally think so. Um,
Yeah. I mean, that's just kind of what happens.
yeah, it's sad because this is where probably in the first album, the second album, turmoil, people hating each other, people were
Hmm.
getting, I'm better than you, I'm the band, you're nothing, and we can replace
Yep.
you, blah, blah, blah. And it's sad because those first two albums, you could
You
listen
could.
to them.
Yeah. Yeah. I could listen to the first two albums pretty. Yeah, you get like one of those. You could just pick them up and be like, yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like listening to something fun today. So yeah, let's put this on.
need a palate cleansing. This was definitely going from Vader to this. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, that's cool. Um, I I I can't believe that when I was listening to it, when I got to like Thursday, I'm like, man, I really do like this band. I think they could have been something more. And you just go down
Hmm.
that path, like, well, what happened, And then I realized I was like, oh yeah,
Oh, there you go.
people people make people a certain way.
Yep.
Which okay, now are we okay with those two? What did you think, Rob? What did you think about and also too, let me say, "In Too Much Too Soon." What a great album title! I think it's great. That or because I say so. I like that
Yeah.
one. I like the titles. I feel like titles of albums always make albums just a little bit better because
Yeah.
you want it to have a title to a book, right? And then you get the
Hmm.
chapters. You're like, oh, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah. That's totally fine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Um,
I like it.
now,
I'll just put like a you know
see, okay, now look at
just
your can.
block it out.
Now
Yep.
look at my can. I was like, he's drinking V8.
I could have had a V8.
I could have V8. The first two albums were okay, but again, I don't like the singer's voice. I didn't mind the singer's voice in the first two albums. I think it went with the attitude. with
Hmm.
the music. I think when you listen to One Day and Cause I Say, the music is good, but the
Yep.
singing is bad. And the lyrics are good, but just
Yeah,
the
they're
quality.
they're different type of lyrics, if that.
Yes. I understand what you're saying. I really do. It's the times,
Yeah,
right?
it's the time, and I think he's
I'm drinking beer.
well, he's like trying to like show everyone his vocabulary.
Yes, he's getting too intelligent with the lyrics where back in 73, 74, you're probably on drugs and you just came out with
Yep,
a fucking napkin,
yep.
at a gas station. This
You're
you're
like,
like
"Mm, mm."
typing on a computer my lyrics, and I think the atmosphere and the times will dictate a lot of listening
Mhm.
quality. And if you're on the streets, poor, trying to make a living singing, da da da, your attitude towards things are so different. That's why I like the first two. I can
Mhm.
understand the punk vibe because it was the feeling of New York, and it's like, this is our fucking city. We're
Yep,
trash, but we like being this way, and blah 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 blah. You know,
and fight you about it too.
yes, we got rats this big.
Yep.
So, um, now the last one.
The last one. Do we even need to talk about it?
Ugh. Now, okay,
I love the title. I love the title.
I can give you that one. Dancing backwards in high heels. That is pretty. I was hoping so much for this album
So
because
was I.
one day, because I said, I was like, man, the progression is just
It's
getting
going.
better.
It's going up, and then whatever that was.
Well, the one you listened to was it the deluxe edition?
Yes.
You notice after end of summer,
It's live.
yes, those songs were from the past.
Right.
So my thought process is they knew the album sucked, so we threw these in to help it out. You had the deluxe for the original version came out, it was probably sold terribly. And they're like, oh, we got to scramble, record company. Hey, let's
Here,
throw
let's.
live versions, the deluxe to get the sales to break even, right?
Right.
This album, oh my, I couldn't. It took every ounce of me to get through it.
Yeah. It was awful. It's
I
gutter trash.
It is
Yeah.
total gutter. Stay away from it. I don't know what
And
the
again, I don't know what they were doing. Like again, it was the lyrics and the crazy rant he had about something in there, and again, there was a lot of mixture of styles. Again, musically,
the playing wasn't so
sounded.
bad. The guitar
The,
work was good, and the drums, everything sounded the way it should be. But the music itself, and I just didn't. I
I
didn't
couldn't get
feel it.
behind it. Yeah, this, yeah, that was the thing that I had too. Was like this album just had no feeling. It was just all over the place.
It was.
Especially that what is it? End of summer, endless summer or something. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind of like a like Spanish kind of something going on there.
yeah. In being with that band, you can hear a lot of influences from rock to punk to blues and different stuff and using different instruments.
Mhm.
I give it a lot of creativity that way. That's a very progressive style when you're not following the path.
Yeah.
But the problem is their path was that path and they were trying to do
Mhm.
too much more. I'm like, you should have kept it simple.
Yep.
That's what they're
And
good at,
then
is keeping it simple.
right. Well, and then they ended up like disbanding again after this album came out, and that tour with Alice Cooper, I believe, was.
Yeah. And I, maybe this album was the straw that broke the camel's back per se. Um,
I could see
but
that. Yeah.
I this is a throwaway album. I've never.
I will probably never listen to it again.
I'm probably going to erase it to be honest. Get it out of my collection because there's nothing good about it. The live stuff
No,
was good. I think the
the
live
light.
stuff
Yeah,
is kind of good.
yeah.
Um,
Well, again,
are
because they
they?
were older songs, but
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. But they are a type of band where their live stuff is better than their recorded stuff. They are that type of band. I've watched the YouTube concerts, the new lineup, I guess, around the because I said during that time,
mhm.
good live. Singing still, but watching the '70s, a lot of energy, a lot of that looking in your in the camera. You might be dressed like a girl, but you probably kick my ass. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Um, that was their '70s. I wish they had '80s, '90s. That was their
yep,
years. That was their time.
hmm yep.
Good
Like
job,
I said, those.
good
Yep,
job
those
trying to come
first two.
back. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
but just couldn't pull it. And Rob makes a good point. Great music and rhythm, but not the singer. That's that was their later stuff, yeah. But later years
Yeah.
were okay. I'm okay with this list. I think it's a good list. Would you want to change anything?
No, I mean, I think it's good the way it is. Like I said, you've got the two where they
70s.
should be,
Yep, right there.
and then
I
you have and like I say, those two. I mean, they could have probably made a decent album out of those two other albums, and then
sure. If they would have tried to make a third album and at least come close to these two, it would have been better than whatever this like these
whatever that
two,
is. Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
this is. I don't know what happened. I don't know who thought of this, who thought it was a great idea, whatever these songs were. I personally thought these songs were like demos of like, hey, we're trying to put a song together. It sounded
yeah,
the quality of the musicianship was there. It will always be there. I think they have
yep.
great bands. Whoever comes to play for Dolls, they pick good players. They have that sleazy, bluesy,
Hmm.
beer, bar rock, type of thing. But I think one of the issues is the singer. Mr.
Yeah,
Johansson has that God complex where I'm the singer, nobody can recreate what I'm doing. This is New York Dolls. I'm the New York Dolls. And I bet you that gutter trash, whatever piece of thing, he had a lot of influence. I want it played this way. This is the way I want it to be. I have a I have a sneaky suspicion about that. Quote me on that.
you really want to
Quote.
get those cease and desist letters, don't you?
Well, when you listen to a band like this, you're trying to put yourself in that headspace, right?
Hmm.
Because we come back from the heavy metal background, progressive metal in the later years, even going back to Rush and like Yes and Genesis and Pink Floyd. You try to get yourself out of that mindset of what your lane is, and this is one of those you're like, all right, 73, I wasn't even fucking born. What was during that time, right? What is that time frame? This fitted. This fitted perfectly. The first two albums, you're like, that's New York. I could understand what they were saying. I'm like, it was like their own country. You know what I mean? Like they had their
Yeah.
own way of life, and people acted a certain way, and you know what I mean.
Hmm.
I could feel it,
Yeah.
but that's our take on New York Dolls. I am pleasantly surprised. It was, except that last album, it wasn't really hard to listen to this. I was
No.
quite surprised, and actually, the word today is refreshing. It really was to listen to them and rate their album. I wish they had more. I really do.
Yeah, I feel like if they didn't have again that 30-year gap,
Rob
that
said glamorous. They were glamorous.
glamorous. Yeah.
You're right. They were glamorous back in the day. They were that band everybody wanted to be because they figured out the formula. I think they figured it out way back then, and
Hmm.
then Guns N' Roses, Poison, and took that formula even perfected it even more. You figure Van
Yep.
Halen had the glam side of them too.
Hmm.
You
Oh
know,
yeah.
it just had kick-ass rock. So they
Yeah.
had the glam side, kind of with the frill. For it was the style. You know, you
Yep.
got to think of the
The
style. Okay?
late 70s, early 80s style.
Trendsetter.
Sure.
They definitely were trendsetter. That is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could go with that. They were. They set a lot of trends. I'll give you that
Hmm.
part. Yeah. So, what did you think about the listenability? This was not that bad. I think it was
Yeah.
listenable.
Yeah. Like I say, those first four albums were definitely listenable.
Yeah, definitely was. And and also with that, I did try to listen to one album a day because it was only five, right?
Right.
So I gave it its time. Even when I let it go through, I'm like, cool. All right, let's keep listening. Wasn't like, all right, let's go to the next album. I didn't
Yeah.
even have
Nope.
to do that. So, all right. Well,
Mhm.
that ends from New York Dolls. Um, yeah, this is a quick show. We're an hour in. We got that. Let's bring the band list. Dun, 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 dun. Can't see. All right.
No one can see it.
I'm not going to get flack. We are going to randomize, but first, I need to make sure that the New York Dolls come out because last time I didn't take out certain ones. Da, 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 da. Let's see. It should be. It's always under the. Okay, so I did take them out. Okay, I did. Hey, I did my
Okay.
job right. Sweet. Now is
Fine.
it? Now is think Rob, the show's not done, man. The show's not done. You said
We're
great show,
not done
brothers.
yet.
We're not done
Whoa,
yet.
we're not done yet. Come on,
We're
man.
not done. See, Rob, this is fun. This is fun time. This is fun time for us. I like it. I think the best part about the show is I know in my head I would never listen to New York Dolls. Knew who they were, never would listen to them. But now with this, now the painting can be elaborate of, hey guys, you should check out this band, or you should check out that band, and you know what I mean.
Hmm.
I'm still here. Calm your tits. Well played. Now,
Nice.
are we thinking of any band to throw in here? Did you think of any? Probably not.
I know.
Okay, that's okay. You know why?
Oh,
Because well, it's not like we don't have enough to go through
yeah.
yet. Like we don't have enough.
287 bands. Look at that.
All right. Okay. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Da, 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 da. Done.
All right.
We ain't doing a re-roll.
Oh,
This is what.
there's
No,
no reshuffling this week.
we reshuffled for New York Dolls. So unless we agree, we'll re-roll if we agree.
Well, I think the one that came up last week was yeah, we agreed on
Dark
reshuffling.
Funeral. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that'd be something if that came up again.
Oh my god. People were like, this is rigged.
It's rigged. Yeah.
The Smashing
Oh, Smashing
Pumpkins.
Pumpkins. Well,
Okay. All right. After. Okay, I'll take it off.
I
Good.
think they've only well, shoot, I don't know. I can't say, but they probably only got like maybe 4, 5, 6 albums, maybe.
No, they got.
Really?
Oh
Or
man.
do they have way more? I don't know.
Okay.
I got out of the Smashing Pumpkins business a while ago.
The business. the Smash.
I mean, I remember when like Melancholy and
Oh,
Infinite Sadness was like the big thing, you
oh
know.
my God! Right?
So how do we rank that one?
What?
That's a
When
double album.
it's a double album. It's an album. It counts
So
as
it
one
counts
album.
as one.
It
Okay.
counts as one.
Very
Let's
good.
very good. Let's see. Let's go wiki.
Oh, really? That's what we're doing? Spotify. Jeepers
All
horrendous.
right, Smashing Pumpkins. So discography.
Oh wow, yeah. There's a few. One,
One,
two,
two,
three,
three,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
eight, nine,
9, 10, like 11,
12.
12. What? What?
That's 12, dude.
One,
It's 12.
two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How am I not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Name them off.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I must be
John's
missing
been
one. God damn it. All
John's
right,
been
so I got
Smashing Pumpkins for years.
I and you know what? I have been smashing pumpkins for years.
That's right.
So yeah, I've got Jish,
Mm-hmm.
Siamese Dream,
Mm-hmm.
Pisces Iscariot,
Mm-hmm.
Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness.
So after Siamese Dream, it goes Melancholy.
Yeah.
Okay, you said something else.
Oh, Pisces Iscariot.
Yeah, that's not a studio album.
Well, what do you know about that?
There you go.
Then we got Adore
Yes.
and Machina.
Yep.
Oceana.
No. So it
No.
goes Machina, Machina
Oh.
2,
Oh. Okay.
Zygus,
Oh, Zeitgeist. Yeah. Okay.
Zeitgeist, then Oceana,
Is that a
Monuments, Shiny and Oh So Bright, Volume 1,
Mm-hmm.
Sire, CYR,
CYR and
Autumn, a rock opera in 3 acts.
all right. So I gotta check out. Oh, these are all demos and remastered weird
Which ones?
things. The
Which one?
Pisces Iscariot thing. That's
Oh,
like live and
gotcha.
outtakes and stuff like that. So okay.
Okay.
Well, that's the deluxe one, but yeah,
If
these are demos and
okay. So
whatever covers and stuff.
what I say is go to the wiki page and says studio albums. That's the ones we're going to use. I
Right.
may have to get into on this one.
So,
Dude, Rob, the door's wide open, my friend. The door is wide open. Just let me know so I can put you. I'll be in the middle, like.
Okay, so it looks like there's only for whatever reason, I don't know if it's a record label thing, but you know how stupid Spotify is.
Sure. I know some of these are probably going to be hard for me to grab to. I'm going to have to download them or. But you know what? Smashing Pumpkins is kind of one of those bands where you know the hits, but you never really got into the band. Kind of like Rush.
Yeah.
You know the hits, but you deep into Rush. You're like, wow, Hemispheres. Okay, cool. Stuff like that. But yeah, it is Smashing Pumpkins. I am pretty excited. This is exciting. I like this.
Yeah, this will be fun. Like I said,
Yes.
I gotta figure out. I mean, maybe I can go to like a pawn shop or something, and I might be able to find a couple of these.
Or if you go to YouTube.
Oh yeah, I could just check it out on YouTube for sure.
Yeah, you just listen to it through YouTube.
So I'd need to find Zeitgeist and Machina 2, because those are the two that are not on Spotify.
Do y'all know the lead singer owns a restaurant company? Yeah, I do. He's owned it for a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while, like 6, 7, 8 years, something like that.
Is it NWA he owns?
Yeah, it's like
something like that.
Yeah, it's NWA, or was it TNA?
No, TNA is owned by somebody else. I think he owns NWA. think.
Well, then it's in. I don't know.
Because you
we
have
can-
AEW owned by somebody else and WWE.
yeah, Tony Khan, who owns the
Tony
Jacksonville
Khan.
Jaguars.
Oh, God. All
Yeah,
right,
he owns the
John.
Jaguars or whatever. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's his dad.
Oh well,
think-
that's
I-
where he got the money to buy AEW from.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that probably.
More than likely.
Yep, that's the one he owned, but not now. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so we're right, NWA. All right. Well, my friend, thank you, Mr. Sullivan, for being on the
Absolutely.
show.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rob, being in chat. Hopefully, maybe you can be in the next show. All right. Any last words?
No, I think I mean, again, New York Dolls is a fun, the first two albums, really fun to listen to, and a good palate cleanser from some other things. So
I think Smashing Pumpkins is going to be kind of a the in between of a palate cleanser and hard rock type of feel.
it's gonna be a roller coaster, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Rob. Happy Memorial Day to you too, and happy Memorial Day to you, John.
Yep. Happy Memorial Day.
I'm on call, so I ain't doing shit. I'm home on call, waiting to be called out. So I'm on call right now.
Broken.
Yeah, I got no internet. So
Did
All
you
right,
turn it
John.
off and turn it back on?
yeah, right. All right, Rob, John, thank
right.
you for the show.
Yep.
We will be on next week, and maybe Mr. Massanova might be our third guy. I don't know. Maybe. We'll talk to him. We'll influence him. You don't do.
We'll show up
shit,
at his
man.
house.
Yeah, we'll be at your house. I know where you live. I know where you live. All right, later, guys.
All right. See ya.
Bye, internet.